Good morning, leaders. Good day, fellow leaders. Thank you so much once again for this opportunity to continue to engage on leadership issues. Remember that you can get these leadership videos on my YouTube channel, which is Peter Tutubalang, which is Tutubalang. That's where you can get this YouTube channel, these videos. You're more than welcome to share them with your friends and they can use them to better themselves. Thank you so much once again. Today I want to speak to younger leaders. I believe also that I'm still a younger leader. I'm growing in my leadership. There's so much that is ahead of me. And it is important as younger leaders to make sure that you are always on the side of God. We're always on the side of God. You know, it's not a good thing to be resisted by God. It's always a good thing for God to be on your side and for you to be on the side of God. And that is important. It is also important as young leaders that we keep growing ourselves. And today I want to speak to you about one of the classical things that I believe that are very critical to help us grow as young leaders and mature and to be the leaders that God wants us to be and also experience longevity in terms of leadership. And I want to speak to you about that today. You know, how can we better ourselves as young leaders? How can we make sure that we're always on the side of God? And I want to talk to you today about classical spiritual disciplines. Classical spiritual disciplines. I believe one of the critical things for young leaders is to devote themselves to classical spiritual disciplines. You know, prayer. That is number one, prayer. And it is very, very important as young leaders to build that consistent lifestyle of prayer. You know, where every day we spend time in God's presence. Remember, prayer is about communication. You know, when we're in prayer, you know, we expect God to speak to us. Also, we expect to talk to God. It should not be one-sided, where we are always talking to God, but God is not speaking into our lives. I believe that God has got great things for us as young leaders, and therefore we need to have an ear to hear when He speaks. And prayer gives us that opportunity where we can have moments in the presence of the Lord where we can hear from God afresh, you know, where we can get promptings concerning what God has called us to do and to effect in this world. The second thing is the study of the Word. The study of the Word is very, very important. And I want to encourage your young leaders, prioritize your study of the Word. Make sure that every day you study the Word. You know, memorize the Word, know the Word. The third aspect of classical spiritual discipline is discipleship. I believe that as young leaders, there needs to be someone that walks a road with you. You know, someone that walks a road with you. You know, mentoring you, discipling you. It is very, very important. It is very, very important. Allow yourself, you know, to stay under authority. Be that humble enough to have someone that can speak into your life as a young leader and make a difference in your life. The fourth one is confession of sins. The truth of the matter is that as young leaders, we do mess up. As any Christian messes up, we do mess up. And I think it is important also to, in your prayer time, also have moments where you can just say to God, I'm very sorry for this sin that I've committed. You know, make right with God. It is very, very important. Don't just lead God's people without you making right with God as a young leader. It is very, very important. The next point is solitude. You know, have moments where and time where you can just be alone. You know, have time just to go away as a young leader. You know, whether it can be half of a day, where you just go away to the forest or whatever it is. You know, where you can just spend some time in the presence of the Lord. You know, away from things, away from the office. You know, one of the things that I've realized is that office can be very destructive sometimes, especially if you didn't do your devotion ahead of time. Sometimes when you come to an office and you try to pray and study the Word, you know, all these emails will be screaming to you. People will be calling you. Therefore, it is important to have solitude where you can just get away from things, get away from people, and spend time with God. And there are many other classical spiritual disciplines that we can focus on and be committed to them, like fasting, you know. And I want to encourage you, be faithful to classical spiritual discipline as a young leader. You know, when you are faithful to them, they will keep you from arrogance. You know, these classical spiritual disciplines, they will keep us from arrogance, you know, from arrogance and other things that may take you off from the road. You know, These are very, very important. They guard our lives. They protect our lives. You know, when the young leader stays on the center line through the spiritual disciplines, people trust them. That is the key. When we stay in the center line through the spiritual discipline as young leaders, people will trust us. Therefore, I want to encourage you young leaders outside there, you know, stay faithful, stay consistent, be committed to the process, be faithful. You know, make sure that you don't compromise your spiritual disciplines, and you'll become a better leader as you do that. Thank you for tuning in, and God bless you today.